everybody, Weed here. Today, I just kind of wanted to, share some thoughts about, I don't know, just about agriculture in general. Just kind of, I'm an agronomist, and so I just deal a lot with agriculture and farming. And so, just something that's been on my mind is, just how farmers spray herbicides. Um, it's spraying herbicides, it's very complicated. You got to make sure what you spray, don't spray it too early, don't spray it too late, because, it could kill the weed if it's too small, could kill the weed if it's too old. Got to spray at the right time. So there's a lot to happen, but, I don't say all farmers do this, but I'm concerned that, this is a problem where, farmers are spraying, they're spraying their fields, but they're not changing their mode of action. Now, mode of action is how a spray will affect a plant, or affect a plant. So you could have something that could cause it to not be able to do photosynthesis. Thus, the plant wouldn't be able to survive, wouldn't be able to produce its own food. Other modes of action affect, like, won't be able to produce amino acids. It's like kind of an amino acid blocker. Another one off the top of my head is a growth regulator, like 2,4-D. If you spray it, it just simply causes a plant to overgrow. The cells start growing way too fast, and so therefore it just kind of grows itself to death. And so you have all these different things, and so just thinking about how important it is to prevent herbicide resistance, because it is a real thing. It does actually happen. So so to be able to prevent this, you need to be able to switch up your mode of action, and usually have multiple mode of action. So if you spray the same herbicide year in, year out, that those weeds in your field are gonna could create herbicide resistance. And it's not like the spray is causing the plants to be genetically different. It just so happens that plant, some of those plants out there, just have a gene that naturally allows them to resist the herbicide and grow past it and not be killed. It might stunt them, it might cause them to, the top portion to die off, but then the bottom portion regrows itself. And so, it's just a natural thing that happens. So, it just has a natural ability to do it. And so that's why it's always important to switch up your mode of actions. Even people who have spray in their yards and gardens, it's not just farmers, it's everybody actually. Everybody who sprays herbicides, need to make sure you switch up your mode of action. So if you use something that is a growth regulator herbicide, switch it to next year, switch it to something that's like an amino acid blocker or a photosynthesis blocker. Or, even better, 1 year you spray growth regulator and an amino acid blocker, for example, like glyphosate or Roundup, and 2,4-D, spray those together 1 year, and then next year you switch it to something else. And it's it sounds simple. It's just like, oh, why don't people do that? Well, it's it's a lot more complicated. A lot of fields, you have a lot of different weeds. Some sprays work better on certain weeds than others, and so there's a lot of things to considered. So it's not just always black and white of this is how it is, and like, oh, why are the farmers or people doing this? Well, a little more complicated. That sometimes it's very expensive, and so it's always been very important to switch up your mode of action. No one's really to blame. It's just education. People just need to learn and learn these things. But kind of to keep going off of this, other people will jump on like, yeah, herbicides are evil and farmers are destroying the environment. Well, I have a bone to pick with those environmentalists too. They sit there and preach all day long, organic and no herbicide and all this, but one thing I realized, they never offer any solution. They just say, this is the problem, fix it, but they don't give you the tools to fix it. So I think as a society, we need to quit just saying, hey, and quit using this, quit doing this. You're destroying the environment, you're causing climate change and all this. Well, instead of just saying this is climate change, why don't you do something to solve it? Why don't you come up with a solution to the problem? Instead of just saying there's a problem. Yes, people no, it's not helpful to anybody. And so that's why I'm a bone to pick with all you people who sit and complain about, oh, this and that, and you know, solve this and that, but you never come up with a solution to solve it. So, I think it'd be very helpful if you could come up with this solution. Yeah, it's just something I want to do. Drive and work, have thoughts, just kind of wanted to share it. Let me know if you have any other thoughts or comments, so leave those down below. Okay? Enjoy your drive.